Numbers and beyonds. Welcome back. We are so happy to be doing another episode.
Oh,
We
yes.
never get to see you all enough, but when we do see you, we always come with some great content. And today will not be anything less. Ben, want to introduce yourself?
Well, of course, I am one of your hosts, Ben. I am the man with the numbers. That's what I do. I love numbers. So when we
Pointless.
get into it, I'm the one that pokes the bear because he just gets all caught up into it, right? So I just
Pointless.
enjoy it.
That's
For me, it's the
pointless.
numbers. That's what gives me the sword to stab at him.
Pointless.
Never.
Now, let's get into it. We're going to start off real heavy with the NBA slate. So we've had a lot of stuff going on with the NBA as of late.
Oh yeah. So the NBA has been very. It has been different than what I thought it was going to be. We'll just leave it at that.
Definitely. I'll say that I expected a little bit of this.
Maybe
Just
a
tad.
little, but like this trade deadline, man, well, that was insanity.
Giannis trying to move to the Warriors.
He's still with Milwaukee, and it's absolutely confusing because honestly, I don't think it's going to be a solid working relationship there.
I don't think there is either. I mean, he tried to leave. Now everybody's on like, you tried to abandon us. Why would I want you on my team now?
So
You know,
one of the things I've been wondering is why he didn't go somewhere, and like if his value is still going to like what his value is going to look like moving forward.
well, the post that I read said that no team was actually offering a serious offer for Giannis.
He's expensive.
He definitely is. I mean, he's a key piece to any. He's still technically,
The key
prime.
piece to the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, he's still prime Giannis.
Oh, for sure.
technically. So whatever team gets him is gonna end up being dominant because they already have a star player on it. Curry would have had Giannis. It doesn't actually matter who the rest of the team is. It's Curry and Giannis. You see what I'm saying?
I think that was the best place for him to go.
It would have been the best place for him to go, but it would have been ugly for the rest of the league.
Which
Who are you gonna focus on? You can't double team them both.
you can't, and that's kind of the point. Like that's why,
Who are you
like
gonna focus
it's the
on?
best team. It's the best team for him to have went to, where he's going to, have one of the highest chances of getting a ring, and one of the highest chances of having success as overall as a player. And I mean, you're not talking just something where it's a 1 year type of thing. You're talking, 2, 3, 4 years there, and they would be a dominant team.
I think that Giannis, me personally, should have went to the Lakers.
Oh,
Go ahead.
What?
Let's go ahead and give.
Okay, this is a new one.
Look.
I want to hear why.
Everybody knows I'm not actually an NBA. I don't have a specific team that I like. I was a Kobe fan for years, so of course I rocked out with the Lakers. And once he passed, there was no. Once LeBron tainted the Lakers, I couldn't mess with them anymore. But now, LeBron's on his way out. Maybe his final year.
Where do you think he ends up after that?
Let's hope he ends up on his couch, watching from the sidelines.
I could agree with
Like
that.
let's hope he ends up where he's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and end this good career that he's had.
Yep. With no championship on the way out, by the way.
He definitely doesn't deserve one.
Yep. So
He didn't deserve his last.
that
one.
answers
But
that little
that's
question that I had. Where do you think he goes? So back to Giannis and the
but
value.
Back to it. If Giannis would have landed right there, now we're talking Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and Giannis.
Do you think though that would have been as well? Do you think it's? I think
Way
it's.
scarier than Curry and Giannis. Way scarier.
Do you think it's as likely to turn into a championship?
Yes. I think that's an automatic ship, honestly. When you're looking at the Lakers right now, they're only missing a couple of pieces. Giannis would fill up at least two of those slots.
He's a big man.
At least two of those slots Giannis would fill up, which means they would only really have to get their defense together. And the Lakers would be a dominant team for anybody to go up against. We're talking about another Thunder's team last year.
Yeah, you're talking about a very scary, different outlook for the NBA. I guess it just doesn't seem as quite the same, like as logical of a move. The question, I guess, would be which team to give up what it takes to get Giannis. Which would have been the better team, or which would have had more value to give up and could have afforded it? The Lakers or the Thunder?
Of course, it would have been the Warriors. The Warriors would have had way more to give up. The Warriors could give up their entire lineup to get Giannis. Go ahead and just build back around Steph. Okay, like go ahead and get rid of all of them. I think the only one that actually does anything is Polimski.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Some of these names I really just can't always say the best, so we're just gonna go with that.
He's the highest point scorer behind Curry. Curry's averaging 27. He's averaging 19. Get rid of the whole lineup for Giannis. That's what y'all should have done. Y'all should have offered them everybody.
For Giannis.
Get everybody up out of there. Matter of fact, get Steve Kerr up out of there too if you need to. We can get one without Curry. It's the players. The players make it, man. It's the players that make it.
Getting rid of Curry, though, in exchange to having Giannis is...
Curry's had a legendary career. It's not getting rid of him. It's just letting him sit to the side so we can have a nice shot at another championship.
Okay, but hold on, though. Let's say, for example, they would have took Curry out of the mix.
Not Curry. Kerr.
Oh.
Steve Kerr.
Oh, I misheard you then. Then yes, by all means. I thought you were... That's why I was like... Well, Curry. Why would you get rid of the other piece that you would need?
No, we're not getting rid of Curry. We build around Curry.
Okay,
yes. Get rid of everybody else.
Including in fact, the whole coaching staff can just leave and just let Giannis and Curry have their thing. It's fine. It's good. Get LeBron to coach him. He likes to coach, so.
No, I'm tired of seeing LeBron. Let's get LeBron out of the league, please. Somebody drag that man kicking and screaming by his bald spot, please. I'm sick of it. But moving on, sir, we got to get out of this trade deadline talk because we actually had a nice NBA slate last night. The Wizards beat the Pistons.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was not a...
Speaking of trades, I know I just said we need to get out of it, but AD got traded to the Wizards. I believe he made his debut last night. Is that the reason why? They're making players leave and go to the Wizards, like as if it's a dead zone, but they're actually putting players in position for the Wizards to be making a playoff run next year. Like, we got Trae Young and AD just added to the Wizards, sir. Is that not a scary move for people? AD, while he is not in his prime,
I was going to say, I think there's something to be said for, while he's still good, I don't think he's great anymore.
He's still a presence on the court. He still if that's the case, Karl Anthony Towns isn't as great anymore. You see what I'm saying? There's still a presence. That presence right there is what changes the game for the Wizards. And then you got a good point guard in Trae Young. Trae Young, on the other hand, is definitely not out of his prime. He was just in a messed up situation.
Yeah, Trae Young the way that went down was definitely a little bit odd, being traded during a game, and that I think kind of had a bit of an impact coming into like we're approaching the trade deadline, right? We're getting into the final stretch before the trades really started kicking in, and he kind of kicked it all off that way. So he's a great player, and I definitely think that his transition out is only going to be better for him. And then the more you surround him with other players that are able to play, they do have potential. But the question is that enough to compete for the championship?
Sir, all I'm saying is they make a couple of more stupid trades over to the Wizards, and the Wizards are going to be making a playoff run. We're going to be talking about this low-ranked Wizards team in a whole nother light. I can see it happening. You keep on sending players over there to die when they're not ready. It's going to happen, period. And then we got the Magic, who beat the Nets. Of course, I don't know what's going on with the Nets. Actually, I do. There's no talent over there on the Nets side anymore. It was KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, which never actually got fully used.
Which is kind of...
It was a waste.
Unexpected, yeah.
It was a waste. They literally wasted a big three. And then everybody went to separate ways, and the Nets haven't made any noise ever since, sir. I don't. There's really nothing to talk about in this game because the Magic, I think they would have lost up against anybody else. The Magic aren't as great either. And Paolo Banchero wasn't playing last night. They definitely would have got dubbed. Put them up against the Wizards, they would have folded.
That's a. I guess it's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, without Paolo and the Wagner brothers, they're not actually the Magic. Don't actually perform as well as what people would like.
The Magic tend to, even though they have won a lot of games, they tend to let down some of the games you kind of almost don't expect.
I kind of expect it from them at this point, though.
Right. Like
from a gambling standpoint, I didn't just all of my parlays. If I add the Magic on there, I have to take some form of spread. Like I gotta add myself a buffer in there because they're so trash. It's just like with the Bucks. The Bucks without Giannis.
Oh,
you would think that it's an automatic dub, but it's not.
No.
They usually 9 times out of 10 drop the ball. Then we get into the Raptors and the Bulls. I'm so sick of the Bulls losing, and it's only because they don't have their full roster up there. Now Anthony Simmons just got traded to their roster. Now. Anthony Simmons was a sleeper on the Celtics. He usually covered his over 9 times out of 10, and he might have just dropped a dub out there. And he was a bench player. So him being a starter in this and for the Bulls might just be another Kickstarter that they needed.
Talking about the players coming in and out, the Bulls got rid of DeSamu, and then they picked up Dillingham and Miller from the Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. That changes some of the way that these next several games are going to look. We'll see if that has a major impact, but I'm kind of curious if that's going to be a good or a bad thing for them moving forward this year.
What do you think the NBA All-Star game is going to look like? What do you think that the All-Star weekend is going to look like? Because Matt McClung said he's not doing the dunk contest this year. And he was the only highlight of it this year, for the past 3 years.
Look.
He's the only one that knew how to dunk.
Dunking it used to be one of my favorite parts of the NBA. Not just dunking in general, but the slam dunk contest. It was the highlight, really, of the entire year for me, was just watching that, because you got to just watch players do some crazy stuff. And now dunking is such a unused part of the game compared to almost everything else. And now they get penalized if they hold on to the rim just a tad bit too long. It's taken it away. So for me, even something like the dunk contest now just doesn't have the same feel for it. And
that's because all year players would practice their dunks for these dunks.
Correct. And it didn't matter if they won a championship. They win the dunk contest, they're golden.
You got that trophy. And
literally.
We would have so much entertainment throughout the three-point contest. But now, Steph Curry's either going to win or they're going to make him a little sideshow and then put a bunch of weak three-point shooters up there. Yeah, they have a high average, but they're not entertaining. This is my issue. Skill and training is always a good thing to have.
Of course.
Entertainment is why we're here, though. We're not here to watch. We know that you're good. You wouldn't be in the league if you weren't. Are you entertaining? Can you make me want to watch this? And for the longest time, I haven't even been mad that I missed the All-Star games.
Let me ask you this. So when it comes to the NBA, right, when was the last time that you looked at a lineup of games during the day, right, and you're thinking, what game do I want to watch not because of like the standings and the importance of the game to the playoffs, et cetera, but to who's going to do something crazy?
Every day. I do it every
But
day.
when was the last time that you literally looked at it for the sake of entertainment purposes? What was just going to be the most entertaining game where you were going to see the craziest dunk or players that just kind of let their emotions get out in the game? When was the last time you actually truly watched a game compared to how it was back like even 10, 12 years ago?
Sir. Every day.
But see, I can't find that like I used to.
You can't find it But I look for it every day. There's never a time where I look at an NBA slate and I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch all of these games because they're just so great. No,
But
there's probably about 2 or 3 games per slate that are actually worth watching. And those are the games that I'm looking for. Usually they involve the Thunder, the Celtics, or the Lakers. So those are the games where I find entertainment in them. Those are the games where there's multiple players dropping 40 apiece. Like, that's what I like to see. Now, entertainment-wise, the whole NBA to me has lost its luster. Like, all of it. I don't get entertained by a lot of these players. And it's mainly because, you get older, your generation is who you like to watch.
Of course.
This is a newer generation. Of course, the people younger than me, they probably like it a little bit more. Me personally, I prefer that Kobe, Carmelo, D Wade, LeBron.
Carmelo Anthony.
One of the most goated players
Indeed.
that didn't do anything in the NBA. He did absolutely nothing.
Yet his name is still infamous.
Very infamous, and it definitely should be. Melo was one of the greatest talents that we've ever seen. He just never got that ring to show it. That's just abysmal. You can't be a GOAT without the ring. At least one. Can't be a GOAT without the ring.
I could see that. Although I think there could be a debate for some, especially...
No debating. That's the end-all, be-all. It's the reason why everybody's in the league.
Of course.
For any league, whether it be NBA, NFL, MLB, you're there for the ring. And if you retire without one, your GOAT status has automatically dropped. Period. You can't be in the running without the ring. There's so many great players. So many. None of them got their ring, though, so you can't put them in the GOAT conversation.
But it's not just a one-player sport.
It's not just a one-player sport. But they'll be on that team. They're doing great. The rest of the team's trash.
Well,
you
then
still couldn't get your ring.
Well, then that calls into question is it that they are not the GOAT, or is it that they just were on teams that were just not good enough, even though they were good enough, the team wasn't good enough?
Well, I would love to say that the team not being good enough gives you an excuse. Kobe won his last ring with the entire team on his back.
Fair
entire
enough.
Team. There was no great players on. Kobe won his last ring with Pau Gasol. That's it. They didn't have their bench was abysmal. Their starting five was abysmal. The only player on that team that actually was doing anything was Kobe. He put them all on his back and got his last ring. That's why we call him the GOAT. Jordan, at one point, the whole game rode on him. He delivered.
Every time.
Every single time. At some point, the whole team relied on LeBron. He sucked. Which is why we don't put him in the GOAT conversation.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I'm not giving him any credit for that. We're not doing that. LeBron has never been a clutch player in his life.
He's won his championships because of the team around him.
Because he goes to a team that already has a star on it. Kyrie, D Wade. You left the Cavaliers, bro. You don't get to take credit for how great they became.
You left them twice.
Left them twice. You don't get
not just once.
You don't get you don't get that claim to fame.
He went back like it was a bad relationship.
He actually only has one good ring in his arsenal, and it's that bubble ring. And I refuse to count that either.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't a great year.
That was a horrible year.
It was kind of. Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell averaged like 50 points a game.
They should have pretty much just erased that from the NBA history at this point.
Like I said, when we're talking about GOATs, who's the GOAT? Where's the GOAT conversation? It begins and ends when they don't have a ring. Period. If you don't have a ring, you're not in the conversation. Now, how many rings that you have does come into play somewhat. I think Robert Horry has like 9, but he's not a factor. He's just on a lot of great teams.
Yeah, so you could be a bench player and go from team to team and win a ton of rings, but at the end of the day, does that make you a GOAT? Absolutely. No. It makes you a GOAT as a bench player. As a bench player GOAT, cool.
When we're talking about who are our GOATs, there's specific questions that you have to ask. and there's a lot of questions that nobody's asking. Yes, LeBron in his own way changed the game.
Yeah.
But he also added on to a lot of the stigma that is around the NBA now. Y'all do realize that LeBron had the first super team. It was LeBron that started that. Y'all got on KD about moving over to the Warriors, even though when we're talking about KD moving to the Warriors, one player had a significant impact on the team's success. The other player did not. LeBron did not change anything about that team. That team would have been goated without him. Replace him with any other shooting guard, any other small forward. You would have had a good team out of the Heat, period.
I can agree with that, honestly.
They could have definitely made that playoff run. But me personally, KD, he changed how the Warriors were actually playing. You couldn't guard KD and Steph Curry at the same time, which is why everybody focused on Curry thinking that KD wasn't going to matter, and KD took over both of those ships.
Which is why I said Giannis would have been a great fit with the Warriors. It would have been golden.
Side note, sir, I know we're getting into the NBA really heavily. So I'm going to ask you your favorite. Gots to be goated, sir.
Oh, boy.
Do not come to me with any BS. What is your favorite sports movie?
Ooh. Oh.
I'm listening.
Oh, that's
Because mine is the greatest of all time.
that's a tough question.
There's a lot of them out there. Remember the Titans?
Uh-huh.
You know? I'll even take the Great Debaters, honestly.
You know what? I might have to think upon that for a moment, and we'll have to circle back to that because that is a very tough question because there are so many different ways that I look at sports movies for different reasons. It's not just watching it, The Waterboy is an amazing movie. It's not truly it's a sports movie.
That's definitely a sports movie. I'll accept
and
it.
it's entertaining, but am I going to sit here and say that it's the best one, my favorite one all time?
It can't be.
It can't be.
There's no way.
But there are so many movies that I could think of that to pick one, what makes me think of okay, what am I looking at it for? I love documentaries. Those are some of the things that.
Yeah, that's out of the scope though.
But
that's out of the scope.
But you're asking what my view on it is. So again, I have to think upon it for a minute. So, but
I'm
what
giving
about
you
what's
this kind of
yours?
thing.
What's yours?
What is your deepest fear? Is it that you are inadequate? Coach Carter, sir. Samuel L. Jackson. That movie is so goated. From the soundtrack that plays in the background to the actors that play on screen. Every last aspect of that movie, I don't care what anybody says, every last aspect of that movie was a game changer movie-wise for me. Sports movie-wise, period. I keep my heart in my soul. Yes, sir.
You're feeling yourself today.
That's the first thing that you hear. That's the first thing that you hear when you play the movie. And it just keeps getting better and better. Then you learn that certain parts of the movie were improv by non-improv actors. If you go back, that whole pool scene, that was a real thing. They were actually mad at the entire team because they weren't supposed to be in the pool. They weren't supposed to be drinking. They weren't supposed to be playing through the house. The scene was actually supposed to be shot in a certain part of the house, and they ended up making it into an entire party. So Samuel L. Jackson's reaction to the whole team, and he was yelling at them, that was all real. None of that was scripted.
Okay.
You got to look at the finer details when you're talking about these sports movies. Also, I love The Great Debaters. This is why I said I'll take it. And it's not really a sport technically, which is why I gave it a little shout out, not a...
Okay. I'll think upon it for a little bit. I'll have you an answer by the end of this show.
All right, sir. I'm going to come back to it.
Okay.
We're going to get into the 76ers and Lakers. The Lakers win this game. I knew they were going to win this game, so I don't really want to finesse them too hard into this. But the 76ers are a weird team for me right now.
They are surprisingly...
They're so roller coastery. But I feel like if they just got it together, just one time, just give it a good 6-month stretch, this team would go undefeated. They're actually a great team altogether. And when they're all playing on the court together, you can see the chemistry. You can see it all happening together. I just wish that they would stay consistent. They're probably the best inconsistent team ever, that I've ever seen in my life. Because there's no way. Even that whole game, they were up. They were with the Lakers, and they only lost by 4, but they were with the Lakers. They were up on the Lakers for the first half, and they just let it slip. I don't know what to say about the 76ers other than they confuse me.
The thing with the 76ers is they're not a team that is with their performance, with the way they even for example when they played the Lakers, Embiid and Maxey both had great games. Mm-hmm. Both played really, really well. They put up the points, they put up what's needed to beat a lot of other teams. But they're the team that when they run up against a team that is just ultimately better than them, mm-hmm. they generally lose those games, which I know that sounds kind of obvious, but it's not always the case. Sometimes the underdog of the two teams will win the game, right? This is one of those teams where they're very consistent against teams that are not as consistent with their games. Mm-hmm. When the 76ers play consistently the same general level, so it's really a matter of when you talk about their consistency, it's not so much theirs, it's their opponents. I feel like the 76ers actually are very consistent when it comes to performing on a very linear, it's very linear. It's flat, it's just kind of the same thing, and they do well.
Yeah, I need that consistency to lift up, though. I need more. I need more out of it.
So you need them to raise their bar.
Pretty much.
Keep their bar at a higher level.
And keep it at that high level.
What do you think it's going to take, though, for them to do that? Because realistically, they do produce quite well. What do you think would push them over the edge? Obviously, trades are out of the equation here. So, as a team, what do they need to do to try and raise that bar?
Well, first off, stop letting Joel Embiid do whatever he wants. He should be consistently out there doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Y'all let Joel Embiid get away with murder all year last year, and some parts of this year. When Joel Embiid is out there on the court, it's a game changer. He definitely makes the moves that needs to be made. So, me personally, I think Joel Embiid would be the deciding factor. Tyrese Maxey can't go out there and drop 40 points every game if Joel Embiid isn't dropping at least 25.
I mean, again,
see what I'm saying? Like that.
But that's
we need a playoff. We need these teams to be able to play off of each other, because if at the end of the day, that's what they have.
If I look at this team, I look at their bench, and their bench is just very low performing.
Yeah.
That's where they
need
need
to be able to play off of each other.
That's where your overall is. It's not your starting five that you have to focus on, although they could use some work. But for the most part, the starting five does their job. Mm-hmm. It's the bench that needs to be elevated. So that's my final thought on that game.
All right, sir. I need to know your final thought on this movie.
Rudy.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of Numbers and Beyond. We appreciate you tuning in. Ben is an absolute fool, and I'm sick of it. Peace.